Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. It is Friday night, June 11th. We're watching Dynamite live with you. We're recapping Smackdown. Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio at Hell in a Cell. Let's go. Yeah, welcome to the best show of all time, Wrestling Uncensored. If Alex Tarras says it, it must be true. I'm Dave. There's Big Johnny North. What up, Big Johnny North? Big John?
Well, I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm kind of happy this is like our last watch along for Dynamite because it's just not as much fun watching Dynamite this way. Like you're not real. It's hard to pay attention, you know. Like,
Right
I'm
off the
sure
bat,
people are enjoying this.
You're like, I'm not really having fun here. I'm sorry, guys. Right off the bat, you're like, man, I'm really sick of doing this show. You start the show so negative.
I'm not sick of it, but it's just like I'm not. It's hard to enjoy Dynamite the same way, you know. Like it's just it's not easy because we're kind of preoccupied. So
yeah, I know we're talking to each other. I get what you mean.
I'm gonna look forward to when we can watch Dynamite, separate. Like it's better to recap a show like that instead of talking about another show at the same time too. It's kind of tough. It's tough doing this.
Yeah, it's been a weird Friday night experience for us, right? Watching Dynamite and recapping SmackDown. We're always here Friday night at 10, but Dynamite, usually Wednesday nights at 8, has been moved to Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern over the past, 3 weeks now? So we've been doing a Dynamite watch-along and a SmackDown recap at the same time, which could get a little weird going back and forth, but whatever. It's a free-flowing wrestling conversation for a couple hours. That's how I see it. We're watching wrestling at the same time. I kind of like it. I kind of like doing it this way. I don't know about you. I feel like it's easier because I get to recap SmackDown and watch Dynamite at the same time. So I kind of, get two birds stoned at once, as you might say. Shout out to Brian Firth, who says, hey, my Wrestling Uncensored 15-ounce mug arrived today, and it looks awesome. Already getting the merch. I think he ordered it Monday. Already arrived out in Saskatchewan. The new Wrestling Uncensored brand new 15-ounce mug that you could pick up for yourself over at merch.ringsidereport.net. So thank you very much, Brian. And I am glad that you got your merch so quickly and you are enjoying a big cup of coffee in a big old 15-ounce Wrestling Uncensored mug. We've got merch going, Johnny North. Merch for the show.
And it's not the merch that you have right next to you. It's a different mug, actually.
Different mugs, different sizes, different style, totally different. You could get this one. This is not Wrestling Uncensored. This is the Ringside Report team.
Right.
This is the MMA squad. Don't forget, I'll be back here tomorrow night. We are your MMA authorities, and I did guarantee an Israel Adesanya victory tomorrow night. Guarantee Dave's lock of the night. Champion will retain. Israel Adesanya over Marvin Vettori tomorrow night, UFC 263. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. I am stealing that from Paul Heyman. What's he going to do? Sue me? I mean, he might. He's litigious. But let me tell you about the watch-along that we're going to be doing tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for UFC 263. AJ picked a lot of fights against me, so we'll see who is right and who is AJ tomorrow night when we watch the UFC 263 pay-per-view, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Me, Freddie, and AJ. Freddie is going to be there. Freddie Garcia, the man, and AJ D'Alessio, the other guy. It'll be good. Christian just beat Angelico here on AEW Dynamite, getting the pinfall victory over Angelico, and then Matt Hardy came out to attack Christian. Matt Hardy's got a thing going with Christian. Jungle Boy making the save to stop TH2 and Matt Hardy from further attacking Christian. You like that finish of the match, John?
Well, I just like the way Angelico took the kill switch. It looked pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely looked like a finish when you bump like that, pretty much almost spiking your head. Looks good.
He's wrestling Christian, man. The guy's a legend. You got to go hard on that kill switch, right? You got to make it work for you, and he did. Good stuff.
And Angelico looked good in this match.
Yeah.
And Helco looked good. This may have been his best match. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of great matches, but I feel like a lot of times he's kind of sloppy. Like in this match, though, like he looked like a really good wrestler. So Christian really pulled out a great match with him.
Not a lot of high-risk stuff here from Angelico. Usually you see him doing more
Maybe
dives and jumps. You know, this was more of a basic wrestling match.
maybe that was better for him. Like maybe
Yeah.
that's the problem. All the flips and dives, that's where it gets kind of sloppy.
Gets complicated, right? Overcomplicated, maybe. So,
I don't know. Like it shouldn't be, but sometimes it is. Like you see their matches with the Bucks. I mean, they overdo it sometimes, but they have some spots that are pretty good. But that's it. There's just too much of it, and then you get some mistakes here and there. Obvious ones, as you've seen, like when Jack Evans, when he did like his 450, kind of got messed up.
yeah, that's what happens when you do a lot of that flippy stuff. Shout out to Franco316. He's happy today because Italy won in the opening match of the Euro Cup. Congratulations
2-0, no?
to
2-0?
Italy. 3-0, I think it was the final.
Nice.
Lauren Cronish, shout out to Lauren. Bob Cote as well. Alex Tarris, Brian Firth. Brian Firth dropping a super chat saying, can you talk about Leo Rush retirement in wrestling? Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. Leo Rush apparently has got some injuries, and he's choosing to stop wrestling, apparently. He just signed with AEW, and he is retiring. I'm not sure what the injury is. I don't know exactly what he hurt, but he's got injuries. He's a young guy. He's, 26? I
It's not
find it
his
hard
first
to...
injury, though. I think
Yeah, but I
hurt
still
before.
find it hard to believe that he's going to really retire. And he's not even actually retiring because he still has obligations for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And once he's healed up from his injury, he's going to go back and fulfill those obligations. And he says then he's going to stop wrestling. But when he heals up, you go through an injury, you're emotional, you feel like it's over, and maybe you'll never come back, and maybe you don't want to do this anymore. But I say wait and see what happens with him once he heals up and then he does a couple matches for New Japan. Like, see where he's at. I think it's sad that if he really, really does have to retire due to injury at 26, like, that's rough. The guy's obviously talented. People want to see him wrestle. He has gotten some trouble with some people. Maybe...
He's outspoken.
Yeah, outspoken, maybe very maybe little confident, and that confident kind of rubs some people the wrong way. He's a young guy too. He was very young, signed to the WWE. I mean, when did he get signed first to the WWE? It says here 2017.
Like 22?
Yeah, so he's like 22 years old. I mean, it's a lot to handle as a 22-year-old, and maybe he didn't handle it perfectly. But I think he's a super talented guy. I loved him as Bobby Lashley's manager. I thought he was great there. He added a lot to Bobby.
Great.
He was really good in that role, and then they kind of dropped that. And that was,
We had issues.
Little NXT run. Yeah, I don't even remember what the issues were. It seems like so many different issues, mostly like attitude issues, right?
Yeah, there was an issue with Mark Henry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Mark Henry was saying he didn't listen to... advice from older wrestlers, whatever. These things happen in pro wrestling, and he wasn't happy in the WWE, and WWE wasn't happy with him. But I think in the end, 26 years old, it's a shoulder injury. I think once he comes back and does those matches with New Japan, we'll see. But probably not in AEW, right? I mean...
I wouldn't know about that. The way Tony Khan wrote that statement, it seemed like the door was open if you ever wanted to come back. I mean, you don't usually see people make that kind of statement, so it seemed like he was interested in him quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, maybe he will. I just feel like when you get signed to a company and then you immediately retire, if you come back in 3 months and you're not retired, do they want to... I mean, if he says, look, I feel like coming... It depends how he does it, right? Depends how he approaches it. But I like him. I think he's a talented guy. I hope he does continue to wrestle. He's still very young. Sad that he might have to retire due to injury, right? It's too bad. You want to see guys not retire? Stay healthy. Things happen. But, he's got a newborn kid, and he wasn't able to lift that kid. He can't pick up his child because his shoulder's so banged up. And,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's distressing. So I understand why something like that might make you question, what are you doing this for? So I get that.
Priorities, like he's putting family first, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, most pro wrestlers don't, so it's nice to see, when you do. Who's this guy with Cody? So Cody's in the ring now with Arn Anderson and a guy in an orange shirt. This is a big moment. Who is this guy?
Well, there's some sort of major announcement. I can't hear it, but this is apparently a big announcement by Cody. So whatever's happening, it's major.
Okay. Well, I'm going to listen to it, try to find out what's going on. What's he saying?
Well, isn't that that's Arn's son? No, Brock, I think.
Oh. Oh, so that's Arn Anderson's son?
They could be talking about his debut coming up or something?
Yeah, I think it's next week. That's what they said.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, Brock Anderson is in the ring now, and apparently he's going to debut next week.
I feel like he only recently showed up there.
I had no idea he was even a thing in AEW. Is Arn's
They had
son?
a moment, I think, they had a moment on Dynamite one time where they introduced him, but I felt like that was maybe 2 months ago. So, and the fact that he's already going to be wrestling, he must have been training for a while now, I guess.
QT's coming out. It's the whole promo thing.
Well, he'll wrestle someone from the factory, more than likely, I'm guessing. Aaron Solo, I'm guessing, too. That is a good point there, Bob. Yeah, he does look a lot like Arn.
Yeah,
Young
he
Arn.
does.
Arn back in the 80s. Not as big, though.
No. He does look a little kind of skinny. He doesn't look super intimidating, especially in that outfit. The little orange polo and the khaki
the
shorts.
outfit looks bad.
The outfit makes him look really nerdy. Like he's a fan. He doesn't look like he's a fan that's come down with Arn and Cody. He doesn't look like a wrestler, right?
He just looks like a regular guy.
Yeah, he looks very
But
normal.
he happens to be Arn's son. Yeah. And they haven't let him talk yet, have they? It seems like everyone else is doing the talking. So
he can't talk and he's got no look. High hopes for AEW.
Well, if he can wrestle, I mean, I don't know. I'm interested. I'll watch him wrestle.
Sure.
No matter what, really. It's Arn's kid. Definitely check that out.
But what is this outfit? The little boat shoes and the orange polo tucked into the white khaki shorts. Like, this is not a cool outfit for like a wrestler. Cody's got the black suit on. Even QT, he's got the gold chain with the little shirt, little bowling shirt. Arn's got the tracksuit, but like, baby Arn looks like he just stepped off the golf course. What's going on?
Well, welcome to Florida. It's kind of the average look, I think, in Florida.
Oh, no. QT just threw sunglasses at Baby Arn, and now Baby Arn just did kind of a push, and now he's throwing punches from like basically a guard. He didn't even pass a guard. And now referees are restraining Brock Anderson, the dangerous Brock Anderson.
I like the name. Name's pretty good.
Brock Anderson? I mean, it's good wrestling names, but like...
Yep.
Okay. Brock
so the match is
Anderson.
with QT then?
I guess so. I mean, he's the coach, and this is like a coach-trainee match that we're going to have to watch on Dynamite. When's Dynamite going to be next week? What's the deal? It's like changing times.
Saturday night.
For how long?
weeks at least.
How much?
2 weeks.
Brian Firth wants me to talk more New Japan Pro Wrestling on Mondays. Yeah, I mean, we could. Just not a lot of people watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it's just like when I talk about it, I feel like people don't care. Will Ospreay was a world champion. He had a neck injury. He had to give up the belt. Do you know who the New Japan Pro Wrestling world champion is now? They have a new champion.
It's not Okada. Like, he lost the match, right?
Yeah, Okada lost.
Takagi, I think?
Yeah, Shingo Takagi. Excellent wrestler. Well deserved. He was a cruiserweight, a junior heavyweight guy for a while. Moved up to heavyweight. Excellent professional wrestler. He's been paying his dues in the wrestling business for a very long time. He's like a little bit older than you'd expect for a guy getting his first world title run, 38 years old. But he's been wrestling for like the longest time. He wrestled in Ring of Honor back in like 2006. This guy's been wrestling since 2004. 2004 he started as a professional, and now 2021 becomes the New Japan World Champion for the first time. He's only been in New Japan since 2018, but as soon as he came in, it was like, God damn, this guy is talented. Shingo Takagi is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. And pound for pound, he might be the best, you know? Depends on the night, but Shingo's definitely up there. So I'm happy to see Shingo become the New Japan World Champion. Very well deserved. The guy is awesome. I love Shingo. But
Well, I think it's just nice to see that someone different. I mean, Okada's great, but I mean, they've kind of been there, done that many times already. So it's just nice they give it to someone new and different.
Yes. Speaking of New Japan, I was a little bit offended to see that guy Rick Booger, whatever his name is, the guitar guy for Nakamura. Boogs?
Boggs?
Is it Boogs? I thought it was Booger. I thought he was Bastion Booger's kid. Anyways, it doesn't matter what his name is. This guy, Rick Boogs, he plays guitar for Shinsuke during the match with Corbin. Fast match, not a great match. Shinsuke rolls up, Corbin beats him. They're fighting over the crown for some reason. There's a crown, and they're fighting over it. And every week, Corbin tries to get it back, and Shinsuke steals it, right? This time, Shinsuke steals the crown back, and then Boogs toss Corbin over the announce table, and then Boogs and Shinsuke celebrate in the ring. And Boogs was doing air guitar as a celebration in the ring. There's only one man in pro wrestling that can do air guitar as a win celebration, and that's Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan. I don't know why Shinsuke didn't tell him not to do that, but that's like Tanahashi's thing, man. That goddamn air guitar. You can't air guitar Rick Boogs. I didn't like that. I didn't like the match. And next week it's going to be Shinsuke versus Corbin for the crown, with the crown on the line. And I'm like, hasn't the crown been on the line in all of these stupid matches that no one cares about? Sorry, John, go ahead.
Well, didn't Hogan also do air guitar when he won matches as well? Like, you know, other people have done it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I guess. But no, he did it on the belt, though.
Okay. But
different.
Still, I mean,
different.
It's pretty much,
he played belt
really?
guitar, not air guitar. Different things, John. Slightly different. Brian First dropped a super chat again saying, you talked about taking phone calls. Will you do that on pay-per-views? Yeah, I think so. We had it going for a bit, and it wasn't. And then we had some other technical issues, but it wasn't related to that, but we kind of slowed it down. We could bring it back at some point. If you're interested in calling in, if people are interested in calling into the show, we could bring back the calls for like special events, post pay-per-view shows and stuff like that. It could happen. It could happen.
Calls are cool.
Yeah, we had it. Not a lot of people were calling in, so we're like, and then we're not sure if it was messing something up technically, but I don't think it was, so we could bring it back. We just haven't yet. There's a lot of things like that go into the production of this show that are kind of really boring to talk about. But, you know, there's always things that work or don't work, and we have to update, and then there's a Windows update or this and that, or, you know, so you always got to keep kind of tweaking, and you want to add stuff, and you want to do this and do that. So there's always wheels in motion behind the scenes, and, like, it's just one of those things that I haven't got around to. And there's just like a million things on my list of, get around to this, get around to that, fix this, fix that, add this, add that, do this. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. But, yeah, we're on it. We're on it. Right now, it is Penta El Cero Miedo and Eddie Kingston and Pac versus the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler and Pentagon right now in the ring. Yeah. What do you think of SmackDown?
Well, I thought the star was good, and I thought Roman Reigns, again, is the star of the show. No question.
Well, I mean,
Everything
he has
else,
all the segments. They're all about him.
Yeah.
Kind of boring.
That's pretty great. Oh, I thought his stuff, especially the stuff he did with Jimmy backstage, fantastic stuff. Like, it's a little too much overkill when they had that segment, and then he has another segment right afterwards with Rey Mysterio. Maybe they could have done that a bit differently or edited that differently, where it's not always a Roman Reigns segment. I mean, he is the best part of the show, there's no question, but maybe just spread it out a bit better.
It's just a lot Roman Reigns. It's a lot of Roman, and
he's the everything.
I get it.
He is WWE.
He's like a jerk to his family, and he's trying to get both Usos on his side to help him win his matches and retain the title so he could be champion forever. And Jimmy Uso's not down with the program, so he's trying to confuse Jimmy Uso and tell him, listen, we're all a family, and I'm trying to make this work for you and your brother and everybody. And Jimmy kind of bought into it tonight when Roman was saying that to him. Jimmy Uso was upset at the beginning of the show that Roman had caused a disqualification for the Usos last week when they had a tag team title shot. But this week, Roman seemed to have convinced Jimmy that it was for the greater good. And, Jey Uso was upset that they were arguing. And he's like, I'm sick of both of you guys arguing. So Jey walked away. And Roman's like, you got to make this right with your brother. And it seems like they're getting on the same page. But it's just I don't know. It's very obvious what they're doing. And the execution is all right, but they kind of overdo it. They over-explain. They overexpose. It's just I get it. Like you said, they didn't need 6 segments. You could have done it in 2 and maybe given some time for somebody else. Because I was watching it, I was like, my God, we're going back to Roman? Back to Roman over and over again. It was, I mean, they're good at what they do, but it's not particularly exciting, and I'm not on the edge of my seat watching it. I'm not interested really. I get it, and there's no suspense. There's no what's gonna happen. It's oh well, Roman will beat this guy up, and then Roman will retain the title, and then I don't know what I'm supposed to care about here. Do I care that Jimmy Uso is maybe with him and maybe not? No. Do I care about Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell? I mean, not really. I think the match could be okay, but honestly, I don't think Rey is anywhere near peak Rey at this point. And in the Cell, I think they're limited to what they can actually do. I don't know how good the match is going to be, and going in, there's no chance in hell that Roman loses, right? So it's I don't know.
Question that, actually.
Oh, my God, John. Come on, please. Please. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to care about with this Roman Reigns thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be, waiting to see, but I'm just bored the whole time. It's not for me. I get it. A lot of people like it and people are into it. But I watch it and I'm just oh, God. He's whispering these promos and it's just all right, man. I get it. You're acting, Roman. Good for you. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. He's okay, but he's okay at doing this thing that just drags on and moves so slowly. It moves so slowly. It's just get to the point. Get to the point.
Well, I think we got to a lot of points here because like we weren't completely sure like what the match Roman was going to have at Hell in a Cell. Was it going to
Right.
be with Jimmy? Was it going to be with Ray? And we finally got those answers. Like I thought that promo with Jimmy was really needed because it felt like it was going to come to blows, but Roman like squashed that. I thought that was huge. There was actually a bit of suspense there because you didn't really know exactly where that was going for a bit. And then afterwards, then the whole thing with Ray happened, and that got confirmed. And as far as I know, I don't believe it's a title match. It's just one-on-one match. So why would you just make it a one-on-one match? Why not for the title? If
Super
Ray
chat. Super
might
chat.
possibly win that match, because no one loses anything in that match. So why can't Ray win that match?
It's not for the title?
Like Ray didn't challenge him for the title. He just challenged him to a match. He just challenged him Hell in a Cell, not for the title.
Oh, man. Whoa. It should be for the title, though, shouldn't it? He's, like, the champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it isn't about the title. It's about getting revenge for Dominic. That's the whole thing. So, and he wants to get him in the most brutal match in WWE history. So, and by doing this, like you can actually believe Ray could win the match because it's not for the title. So, why can't Ray just win the match and then have the title match next pay-per-view?
Yeah, if it's not for the title, why can't Ray win the match? Exactly. And I guess title match next pay-per-view that Ray won't win. I mean, if it's non-title, then sure, I guess Ray could win, but what does that lead to? It's just
An
more of the
eventual
same.
match with Roman.
It's more of the same for me. I don't know. I'm just not interested in the Roman Reigns thing, and that's all SmackDown is these days, and it's just like, all right. Cool. It's just like, who's next for Roman? Roman beats this guy. You know that at SummerSlam it's going to be Roman and Cena, so you're just kind of waiting for that, and you don't believe anybody's going to beat Roman until at least SummerSlam. And then Cena, it's like, well, I don't think Cena's going to beat Roman, so who cares? I'm kind of bored, and it's like, the problem is you don't have anybody against Roman that you believe is going to beat Roman, and they haven't had anybody that's believable to beat Roman since maybe you could buy into it going into WrestleMania. There was Edge, there was Daniel Bryan, like maybe. But even then, like we picked Roman to win, it's just not believable against anybody. And that's the problem. He has no credible opponents. They've made him so strong that there's nobody that's actually credible to go up against him. Nobody. Except maybe Seth at some point, but they haven't built anybody anywhere near the way they built Roman. Like, everybody's built 50-50 on the roster, and Roman's built like Super Roman, right? So, and he's a heel who cheats. So it's really hard to believe in anybody beating him. Plus, the WWE's behind Roman, and this is his big run, and all these critics are saying Roman is great, so they're going to run with it. They're going to run with it forever. And that's what I'm kind of bored with. And I know people are worried that I'm going to stop watching this stuff and I'll just kill this thing. Brian Firth said, I would like calls and giveaways, Dave. I don't want this channel to end. And he also dropped a super chat saying, let's keep it going past SummerSlam, hoping that I don't kill the channel. But I'll tell you, the WWE is, it is not good. And I don't really like watching it ever. When I watch it, I'm just like,
wow.
I mean, there are some parts of it are like, oh, that was all right. But SmackDown tonight, there was nothing really I liked at all on the show. Nothing. At least Raw has Matt Riddle. I like Riddle. I like Kofi. I like Woods. SmackDown doesn't have much. It used to have Daniel Bryan, but he's gone. Now I watch SmackDown, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's not that much in WWE that I really enjoy. AEW's fun. Pentagon just did an amazing dive. That was really beautiful stuff. AEW's really good. I love the UFC, PFL, Bellator. I love MMA. I could sit and watch MMA. Last weekend, I was sitting there on my couch. I sat there from 4 p.m. to about 10 p.m., watching from the first fight to the main event of the UFC Fight Night card, just a Fight Night card, and I was happy as hell. Could not be happier. Just chilling. My son was at his grandparents'. I was just chilling on the couch watching UFC. I had bets going. We're making money. We're watching the fights like a fucking good time. You know, smoke a number in between fights. That's, to me, I love that shit. I love MMA. But WWE is just like, it's not that fun these days for me. I don't enjoy it. It's not on my top stuff that I enjoy watching on a weekly basis, you know? Harold Schneider says,
tough.
sorry, John, just a super chat I want to mention. Harold Schneider says, I liked it when you took calls on the radio, but I would never call, just a listener. We never took that many calls on the radio, but thank you, Harold. We appreciate you. Johnny, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like there was enough. I feel that there was enough calls. Like,
Yeah,
you had enough calls back in the day. Yeah. Well, I mean, you were on, like, what, 3 times a week almost? Like, so
Yep.
I felt like you'd at least get a call or two.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But, like, just trying to remember what I was going to say now. Like, SmackDown is tough because, like, just that whole, like, Thunderdome experience, it's kind of a dead atmosphere. It's tough, but hopefully next month when they have, like, a live crowd again, like, it's going to add some energy, I think, to the show. And hopefully you'll have a different outlook then.
Yeah, I think you're probably right because it's so corporate, it's so produced, it's so like packaged and fake that without a real crowd, it just seems so fake and unrealistic and just garbage, you know? But with a crowd that I can actually react and call them on their bullshit, I think it'll be much better. I mean, I liked WrestleMania, you know, the crowd added a lot to it. A hot crowd can make a wrestling show, for sure. So we have the Bucks and Brandon Cutler taking the loss. Pac getting the pinfall over Brandon Cutler. Of course, Cutler taking the fall. The Good Brothers jumped in to attack everybody. But then Frankie Kazarian shows up, makes a save, takes out Gallows and a bunch of people. Frankie Kazarian seems to be attacking the Bucks and Cutler and all the elite guys whenever he can. Delivered a big stiff clothesline to Brandon Cutler there.
That's his gimmick now.
So
the
Eddie
elite
Kingston,
killer, isn't he?
Yeah, the elite killer, whatever. Eddie Kingston seems to want to align himself with him. Eddie Kingston, Pac, and Pentagon get the win over the Bucks and Brandon Cutler. Like you said, John, it's kind of hard to pay full attention to these matches while we're doing this show, but from what I saw, it seemed pretty fun. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, it's really hard to rate Dynamite when we're doing this, but I mean, things are happening. It's very lightly, though. I feel as well, though, like they're not really trying too hard on these shows because they know that not a lot of people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like they're just holding back on like a lot of feuds right now. It feels like we're just getting a lot of recycled stuff right now until they finally go back to Wednesday nights. Maybe Saturday would be pretty good. I mean, if they put Saturday like 6 p.m. or something on Saturday night, that could be really fun to watch.
Is that what it's going to be?
I'm just taking a guess. I'm just taking what I want to see. I mean, I'd love to see that for myself.
I don't know when it's going to be Dynamite next week. Saturday
I
at some
figure it's going
point?
to be like 10 p.m. on Saturday. That's going to be the worst.
And then is it Saturday for the next 2 Saturdays, 3 Saturdays? Like, do we know when
2.
it goes back to Wednesdays? On the 30th of June, it'll go back to Wednesdays?
I think the first Wednesday in July, I think.
Oh, so that's not going to be, that's a while. That's like 3 more weeks. Okay.
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. People on the chat talking about that bump that Dominic Mysterio did or didn't take tonight on SmackDown. Rey Mysterio cutting the promo tonight, calls out Roman Reigns. He says, Roman, you attacked my son last week, and you attacked me, and I want revenge. And then all of a sudden, there's a kendo stick in the ring, and Rey Mysterio takes it. He starts beating on Roman with the kendo stick. Roman fights back, hits a Superman punch. Just about as Roman is going to hit the spear, Dominic Mysterio attacks with a kendo stick. Roman takes the kendo stick from Dominic, picks him up, goes to powerbomb him outside the ring. But, of course, we don't see the impact. We don't see Dominic actually take the fall. It's so fake. Everybody knows it's fake. And I just, it's something that I hate about WWE. They do stuff that everybody can tell is super fake on a show that already everybody thinks is fake. Like you're doing phony wrestling and then you add in fake bumps that no one sees that didn't actually happen. It's terrible. It is terrible, terrible stuff. It makes wrestling look so much faker than it is. Wrestling is a rough game. It's not an easy thing to do, but god damn does the WWE make it fake. It is sports entertainment. It is not professional wrestling, and when they do shit like that, it is just so apparent. Dominic Mysterio takes a powerbomb. You see Roman throw him outside of the ring. You hear a crash, and then the camera cuts away, and then you come back, and Dominic's laying on the mat like, ugh. But, nothing actually happened to him. There's probably a big crash pad for him to fall into, which is terrible. And we all know it, and we all saw it, and that's just no way to behave on a pro wrestling show. That's just not what a pro wrestling show should give you, a big phony bump. Dominic should take that for real. If he dies, he dies.
All right. Well, it's nice to know that you choose violence over everything. That's fun. But
of course,
this is one of the
John. It's a Ringside Report Network. Violence over everything. It's one of my mottos, man. I love violence. We watch nothing but fights. My whole life is consumed by combat sports. Did you not hear me go on and on about how happy I was watching UFC for 6 hours straight? I love this shit. Violence over everything. By God. What are you talking about?
I like the safety of the athletes involved, but violence is fun.
That's right.
There's no question about it.
Yeah, safety's okay, but violence is more fun, as we all know.
This is one of the rare times now they're going to be able to pull something like this off because they're only going to be in the Thunderdome for another couple of weeks, right? So they're not going to be able to do this with a live crowd.
Yeah.
So they're going to use these little tricks as much as they can now.
Yeah, you should never do something like that. Do stuff you can't do.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, Ray falls off the top of the thing and falls through a crash pad or something. Yeah, like Jericho did off the thing in AEW. Doug Hepburn says they showed Dom after the throw. They never actually saw him bump. And then Derek John says, yeah, they didn't show the bump because it never happened. Shout out to Doug Hepburn. Shout out to Derek John. They are members of the channel. Become a member of the Ringside Report Network. Click that join button right under this video. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch or Facebook, you can like this video. You can subscribe to our channel as well. And you can go to donate.ringsidereport.net. And you could go to merch.ringsidereport.net to buy the merch. The Pinnacle's in the ring right now doing a promo. Un promo.
Also, a shout out to Derek John because he predicted it correctly. He said Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns. But it didn't seem like it was going in that direction. Yeah, he predicted that.
Cool.
So good eye on that one because that was kind of, you could see it, but for the pay-per-view it was kind of surprising, but here we are.
Yep, it's going to be Rey versus Roman, Hell in a Cell. I guess non-title, but we'll see. We'll see. Elsewhere on SmackDown.
What 1 week left for the pay-per-view now?
Yes, correct. One more SmackDown, one more Raw. So, maybe not?
I don't think you need a title match. Roman shouldn't have to defend all the time. If he's going to be a dominant champion like he is, and more than likely they're just waiting for The Rock to come back. So, does he need to always be in the pay-per-view title match? Not really. Just be around.
What do you mean they're waiting for The Rock to come back?
You didn't hear the rumors that apparently they want him back for Survivor Series? Because it's going to be in Brooklyn. Series.
Really? And they want to do Roman Rock then?
Well, no, but you have The Rock show up, and then, we're pretty much on the road to WrestleMania,
I see. So Roman's probably going to hold it until then, at least, right? Until next WrestleMania. which was never
Well, I
really in
mean,
doubt.
but does Roman really need the title to face The Rock? Not really. I mean, you could sell that match just on Roman versus Rock, not even for a title. You could sell that easily.
Yeah, but
But
you know how
I
WWE
mean,
works.
well, Roman's the top guy. Why take the title off him? Is there really
Yeah.
another guy you should give it to? I don't think so.
Well, no, like I was saying, they haven't built anybody to be a real challenge for Roman, so it doesn't really make sense. Did you see Bailey was
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's trending, if not mistaken. Like that was a huge thing, like everyone thing. Like
I
with Paul
posted-
Heyman, by the way, who wasn't even there.
Yeah, I posted a picture of that. The graphic flashed on the screen in front of Bailey for the Ding Dong Hello segment, which was awful, by the way. It said WWE
Terrible.
Champion Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. And I was like, that's not Brock Lesnar. But I said, this is Brock Lesnar now. Bailey is now Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar hosted Ding Dong Hello. Seth Rollins was her guest. They put each other over for a while. Seth talked about how awesome it was when Bailey was making fun of Bianca last week, and then Bailey talked about how awesome it was when Seth was beating up Cesaro a couple of weeks ago. And then the doorbell rings. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Ding Dong Hello, it's two people sitting
lucky.
on chairs in a ring. Yeah. Sitting on chairs in a ring, a wrestling ring. Behind them is a door. There are no walls.
Closed correctly.
Yeah, well, whatever. If somebody were to get into the ring and stand behind the door, the two people in the ring would notice a large man coming into the ring 3 feet away from them. But of course the door, and when you step in a ring, like you could feel somebody else in the ring because it's got like bounce to it, right? So,
Right.
So the doorbell rings and they're like, who could this be? And of course, Bailey doesn't go to answer it, even though it's her show. Seth goes to answer it because it's Cesaro. But Seth doesn't know that, right?
He thought it was the food.
What food?
He thought someone ordered food.
Yeah, but this is so stupid.
I know.
So Cesaro's there and he beats up Seth and he trashes Bailey's set in the process. And then Bailey's mad, and then Bianca Belair comes out and she starts laughing at Bailey because the Ding Dong Hello set has been destroyed. That was my least favorite segment on SmackDown. That was really bad.
Oh,
they make
maybe one of the
Bailey and
worst segments
Seth.
we've seen.
They make Bailey and Seth look so dumb that they cannot perceive Cesaro getting in the ring and standing behind a door waiting to attack. How dumb are these
Not
people
just
supposed to be?
bad. I mean, what did that segment really prove? That they can just laugh a lot. Let's go back to this footage, laugh at it. That's all that did. It really didn't do anything. The Cesaro beating was pretty good. I enjoyed that. But then Bianca comes out and just laughs again. It's just like, wow, this is really bad writing. And like, for the most part, we like bashed a lot of the writers, but like when I saw it was Bailey and Seth Rollins like and a promo together, I'm like, this could be one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And like, add on bad writing, and then add on these two. Like, a lot can be said for like who you're using as well. Because like, say if that was like Kevin Owens, and I'm trying to think of someone else on SmackDown would be pretty good. There's not a lot of other like female like top tier talkers on SmackDown right now.
No, Bailey's
But
the
I feel
one.
like almost anyone else.
Well, Bailey's the best they have.
Yeah, I guess Bailey is the best one they have. But I mean, you throw Kevin Owens in there.
Yeah,
well,
he can
this
help.
was bad. Come on, you even said it. Like, this was horrible. Like,
oh no, this
if you
was
had
horrible.
Kevin Owens,
but Seth, anytime I see Seth talking, I'm like, Brian Firth drops a super chat. He says, "I am sick of Seth and his suits." Derek John says, "What happened to Seth's pants?" Yeah, Cesaro just ripped Seth's pants off. That was kind of funny. I would have really enjoyed if Seth's dick fell out because I think that it would be funny because penises are funny. No, sorry, sorry, John. I know you didn't. You don't think that it would be funny if we could come out here and talk about Seth Rollins' penis falling out on SmackDown? You wouldn't enjoy making jokes about Seth Rollins' penis on SmackDown? I would. I certainly would. If Seth's penis had fallen out of his undies on SmackDown, or a nut or something, we'd be making ball jokes all night. And I wish that would have happened because I could have made some funny jokes.
I'm sure if you want to find Seth Rollins' penis, you can find it on the internet somewhere.
I've seen
so
it
don't worry
already.
about that.
I've seen it.
There you go.
Saw it on the internet.
So,
and like, he's no Shelton Benjamin. So I've heard. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, will not stop talking on their podcast, or maybe one podcast I heard. They just wouldn't shut up about how Shelton Benjamin has a huge penis. Huge. Just so you know, John, I know you needed that information. The Pinnacle just did a promo on the Inner Circle, and now the Inner Circle is destroying the Pinnacle's limousine. They smash it up with baseball bats and shit, and now they have it on a forklift.
So a sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer. Hey, what are you doing with a sledgehammer? That's my gimmick. I'm going to pedigree all of you. I'm going to sign you all to $1 million contracts, and then I'm going to fire you 2 months in. You'll pay for this, Sammy Guevara.
Are we so bitter about that? Like, I don't know. Like, releases happen. Didn't we not talk about this last week? Like, this is, circle of life.
I'm not
People
bitter
get
about
fired.
it. I'm just making a joke about how Triple H signs people to big contracts, tells them they're going to take care of them, take care of their family, and he fires them. It's just what happens, brother. I'm just joking. That's his Triple H gimmick. That's my Triple H impression. That's the character. He signs you to big contracts, and then he fires you. Hey, Johnny North, I have an offer for you. How would you like to join NXT for $2 million a year? I'll fire you in 3 weeks. It's just a funny gimmick. All right, John? It's one of my gimmicks. If you don't
I
like
wouldn't
it,
think that's funny.
if you're personally offended, Super chat. That's your problem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to offend you, John. Brian Firth wants to know when Glenn is returning. Glenn McKenzie not with us tonight. I don't really know why he's not with us tonight. He'll be with us again at some point when we do Dynamite shows, if we do a Wednesday Dynamite show again, if Dynamite ever goes back to Wednesdays, and then we'll see. I don't know. Glenn was with me and AJ on Sunday night watching the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight. Well, fight, whatever that was. But it was Glenn, myself, and AJ having a good time on Sunday night. That was a wild party. We should talk about Sami Zayn, I guess. Sami Zayn hates me now, so we could talk about that. I guess.
I enjoyed the match tonight. Like, I know you didn't like the match, but I thought it was a good match. I thought Kevin looked really good. I thought Big E, this was his comeback here. Like, he just disappeared pretty much for a couple weeks. Thought they both looked really good, and they kind of needed this big victory. So,
yeah, it was all right.
I enjoyed the first match.
It was okay.
The best thing we saw on SmackDown, really, in terms of wrestling. Like, name me something better. You can't.
Liv and Carmella?
Not even close to this. Come on.
Montez Ford and Chad Gable wasn't terrible, and I really liked seeing new look Otis, clean-shaven Otis. Ford beats Gable by disqualification when Otis attacked. Otis just looking like a monster tonight, looking real serious. That was my favorite part of SmackDown, by far, seeing Otis.
Like, I don't think Gable was supposed to kick out of the Frog's. Oh, well. That happens.
You didn't like Otis? What's the problem with Otis?
Well, he botched the finish, really. Like, he's supposed to stop, like, the pin attempt there, but then Gable had to kick out. Then he puts the beat down on Ford. Like, he screwed up the finish. He just made Ford's finish look like garbage. Well, not garbage, but, like, no one had kicked out of his finish by that until tonight. So, and you didn't really need someone to kick out of the finish. Like, that should have been done. And so I could see Otis, like, maybe he doesn't get that push that looks like they're going to give him now.
All right. Well, I didn't really notice that, so hopefully they do give him the push. I don't really care about protecting Montez's finisher. I care more about Otis being a big monster with a legitimate amateur wrestling background who looks the part. Otis is what a pro wrestler is supposed to be. Not some of these skinny fat guys they have on the goddamn show. These little flippy guys, these little nothings, these little non-tough guys. I want to see some tough guys. Otis is a tough guy. There's so few legitimate professional wrestlers in the company. A lot of sports entertainers, a lot of indie wrestlers gone pop, but not a lot of legit amateur wrestlers, legit tough guys. Otis is one of them. Plus, he's got a look. Plus, he's got some charisma. If I'm building a wrestling company, I'm building it around guys like Otis. I want guys that are legit. If you didn't amateur wrestle in high school or college, I don't want to see you on my show. That's how I would do pro wrestling. I don't want to see anybody that can't fight. If you can't fight, I'm not really interested in watching you as a pro wrestler. I grew up in an era where if you weren't legitimately tough, if you weren't legitimately a guy who could throw down, you weren't allowed in professional wrestling. Now it seems like most of the guys in pro wrestling are just, phony wrestlers. I think that's why I like the UFC so much, because it's like, what pro wrestling used to be. Storylines and badass motherfuckers beating the shit out of each other. UFC is the new pro wrestling.
So what did Sting and Darby Allin say?
I don't know.
I mean, they're talking about probably the tag partner, because Paige and Sky don't want to wrestle Sting and Allin. They want to wrestle just Darby and someone else but Sting.
Okay. I have no idea. I don't know what they were saying.
Well,
Evil Uno's
I don't
doing
think
a
there
promo
was
now, talking about winning the TNT title for Brody. Uno versus Miro is the main event tonight for the TNT title. I'm looking forward to that. I like both guys. Yeah, I don't know what Darby and Sting were talking about. Oh, is this not the main event? I thought this was the main event, but it seems like it's happening right now. First hour main event. What's the main event?
First hour main event, yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. You already saw Christian wrestle too. Like, it might be a lot like we saw last week. Like, they pretty much put out their best stuff right away, and then it's like you work in reverse, like, because it's such a late hour that maybe it's not really a great match at the end.
I just saw their best thing, Johnny Hungy, and he just walked off the stage. The best thing just happened. I don't know. He's the only guy I ever want to see, Johnny Hungy. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it's you.
Brian Firth wants to know, would I do a Hulk Hogan impression for his nephew's birthday on June 28th? Yeah, sure, I guess. I don't really... Darby is telling Sting he doesn't need him. Oh, thanks, Derek. Derek's listening into both things. It's hard for us to do it. He doesn't need him. Okay. So
I don't
Darby
think in a bad way.
Someone else. Yeah, I don't know. Hulk Hogan. I don't really do Hulk Hogan impression. Let me tell you something, dude. Brother. Tenant. I don't have a 10-inch penis, brother. That's Hulk Hogan. I'm Terry Bollea, brother. Everybody's racist to a point, brother. Happy birthday, dude. What do you think?
That's not bad.
Everybody's racist to a point, brother. That's my favorite Hulk Hogan line. True, yet horrible.
He's had better lines. Better lines.
He's got a point, though. Everybody seems racist to a point. Everybody's got their little... Miro, not racist. The Bulgarian monster wrestling the evil one, Evil Uno. I'm sure he's racist because he's evil. So, those things go hand in hand. I don't think the real guy is racist, though. He seems like a lovely man who plays video games on the internet. I've heard he's a nice
both
man.
Of these guys
Evil
do,
Uno.
don't they?
Huh?
Don't both these guys have Twitch channels and just pretty much play games a lot?
Yeah,
I think against each other too, if I'm not
gamers.
mistaken.
Oh yeah? I don't know. It's hard to keep up on all the wrestlers' Twitch channels, because it seems like every pro wrestler has a Twitch channel where they play video games, right?
That's not in WWE, yes. If
Yeah,
you're on
everybody,
WWE, you have a Twitch channel.
unless you're Xavier Woods.
Well, that's WWE owned. That's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. Good God Almighty. So it was Kevin Owens and Big E beating Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews. Owens hitting the stunner on Zayn for the 1-2-3. Big E's clothesline of Apollo over the top rope was pretty nice. Nasty spill that they took. But I thought
Big E took a bad bump.
my match of the night was Montez and Gable. Like, the finish wasn't great, but the match itself was really good. And I love Chad Gable. I thought him and Montez worked really well together. The opening tag match wasn't my favorite. I didn't love it. Yeah, Big E took a huge bump, though, on that clothesline going over the top with him, right? Awesome. Awesome stuff. I love Big E.
Wow, you and Sami Zayn, I guess that's a new thing now. Feuding.
What do you mean?
You can't put him over like in the matches tonight.
He didn't do anything. What did he do tonight? I mean, I
thought
would,
he
but
took
like,
a good beating.
he took a stunner. He didn't take much. Apollo did all the work in that match. I thought Sammy was hurt. He worked so little. Kevin kind of like threw him around outside. Like, Sammy didn't do that much in the match. I don't know.
I think that was just playing up to his gimmick, actually.
Okay.
Like, just the way he kind of does that. You know, he runs away from things, you know?
Yeah, he's a coward.
Well, cunning. You know, again, you put him down all the time.
Well, what can I say? Yeah. What do you want me to tell you?
I'll say nothing but this. That I think, like, to me, he's a hero here in Montreal.
Super
Like,
chat.
it's amazing what he's done in his career. The fact that he made it to WWE, like, beat the odds. Nothing but good things to say about him.
Okay.
Nice reverse.
Doug Hepburn says Dave's Undertaker is killer. It is. I'm the Undertaker, and I'm gonna send you straight to hell.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thank you, Johnny North, you bastard. All right. So, Sami Zayn. Should I talk about it?
Well, you have beef, so, like, you know.
I don't. I really
air your
don't.
grievances.
I don't. I have no problem. I'm good with it. So, Sami Zayn was at the Montreal Canadiens hockey game on Monday, right?
Right.
We're going to get into it. He was at the hockey game on Monday, and there were many tweets of him appearing at the hockey game on Monday. Like, it wasn't a secret that he was at the game on Monday, right?
He was on the Canadiens' Twitter. Like, he had a Q&A with Canadians.
Correct.
Which is cool, because I wanted this, by the way. So
What?
I was really happy that it happened.
You wanted him to be at the game?
Well, because Jericho did something with the Jets, right? He did, like, a video thing, like, Go Jets. So I tweeted out, like, it'd be cool if Sami Zayn did something like this, you know?
Why not Kevin Owens?
And, you know, guys that, like, are big fans, you know? Like, Kevin, you know, he's a fan in a certain way. That's it.
Yeah,
So
good.
Sami Zayn's the fan you want.
Maybe not. So he was at the game Monday. It was very public, and I realized that he was in Orlando, Florida on Friday. And the rules in this country, as far as I know, are, you know, if you can travel, but there are, you know, limits on travel. And if you come in from another country, you have to quarantine for at least 3 days. And, you know, the timeline didn't kind of match up. It seemed like he was breaking the rules, the travel rules, right? And I wasn't the only one wondering this. Like, people were tweeting me saying, hey, what's going on? How come he's at this game? Wasn't he on SmackDown Friday? I was like, yeah, I don't know. Seems weird. So.
And you expressed it.
So I was like, yeah, this is weird. Why is he there? Right? So then I get no answer, and I tweeted. I was like, you know, it's kind of weird that he's there. I thought we had these rules in Canada. Is he allowed to kind of Is he breaking the rules here? And
Right.
I mentioned in the tweet Dave Meltzer and a couple other guys in pro wrestling that seem to have a lot of answers when it comes to pro wrestling, right? Meltzer,
Time out though.
what?
Time out, because you tweeted like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then you tweeted again, and then added Meltzer in it.
Yeah, I tweeted again the next day
Yeah.
because people were asking me like, what's going on here, and people seemed upset about it. So I go, what's going on here? Maybe Dave Meltzer knows, maybe this guy knows, because I don't know, right? And these guys, I mean, Dave Meltzer seems to have all the inside information on pro wrestling. I thought maybe he might respond and say, oh, you know, there's something to this, or there's nothing to it because da-da-da-da-da, right?
Now, you tagged Sammy in all these things.
No, in
And
one or two. Not in all
Meltzer.
of them, in one or two.
Okay,
So
but you
then,
tagged him in the same thing with Meltzer.
yeah,
Yeah.
which he did not like.
I imagine he would not.
All right, well, you can explain to me why, okay? And I'll explain to you why he should not worry about these things and why. Anyways, I was quite surprised to get a direct message on Twitter from Sami Zayn. And I could read it to you if you want, because at this point, I don't care.
I don't know if I really want to. I mean, it is private. He sent it private, so I mean,
fine. It's private,
but it's up
so
to you.
I won't read it verbatim, but he said that he's got an exemption because he's a cross-border worker, which I don't really understand. Right. I thought he lived in Florida. Maybe he lives here and he's got to travel back from here to Orlando on a weekly basis. In that case, it makes perfect sense. I was under the impression he lived in Florida, and I didn't really understand why he'd get a cross-border exemption. If he lives in Florida and works in Florida, why would he be coming here for a hockey game and getting an exemption from quarantine like everybody else has to, right? By the way, I can't go to fucking Nova Scotia, which is in this country. Okay, I can't travel there. I can't go buy a ticket to watch Sammy wrestle in Detroit, Michigan in August and visit my friend who just had a baby because I'm not allowed to travel. I can't afford the $2,000-$3,000 hotel stay you got to pay mandatory when you come back into the country of Canada. I am not privileged like Sami Zayn, and I do not have these exemptions, nor do most Canadians. So he has this exemption, and he told me he had the exemption, which is totally cool, and he's Sami Zayn. He's a big, famous wrestler. Sure, he's got these exemptions. But then he says, please do a little more research in the future before you start snitch tagging or try to get people in trouble. All the best. But when he says all the best, I don't think he really means all the best. I think he means fuck you. Which, fine. Which is fine, you know? I was disappointed that I had upset Sammy. It seems like I had upset him. I did not intend to upset him. I did not intend to get him in trouble or snitch tag. As I explained to him, I said, you know, I didn't know you were a cross-border deal. I don't know what your deal is. I'm not trying to snitch tag. I'm trying to do research by asking Meltzer because Meltzer seems to know everything about wrestling. I never, in my wildest dreams, expected you to respond. You have over 1 million followers. I didn't think you'd even see my tweet, but apparently you did, Sammy. And apparently it, you know, rattled you a little bit. And I'm sorry. I really am. Like, I like Sami Zayn as a wrestler. You know, we have friends in common. You know, I live in this city too. I know people that he knows. You know, what are you going to do? He seemed upset. I was not trying to get him in trouble. I don't want to get people in trouble. Everybody knows that the last thing I am is a snitch. You know, I was just a little bit concerned as a citizen of this country and city, wondering why this guy seemed to get an exemption from the rules that we're all following, and he might be bringing something in, and yeah, fine, he gets tested before he leaves, and he gets tested again, but what if he brings something in on the airport, and he's vaccinated, and fine, but I was asking the question, And then I followed up and I asked him more questions in response to his direct message, and he did not answer me, and I don't expect him to ever answer me. And that's basically the end of that. But honestly, I was a little disappointed in his response. I was a little surprised that he went that way. He kind of took it real personally in that type of way. This wasn't about Sami Zayn. This was about making sure everybody is following the rules. There's a lot of exemptions made, for professional hockey. And I think that is unfair. I know there's a lot of hockey fans out there, and there's a lot of exemptions being made for hockey and hockey players. And, there was a time when no one could do anything, but, hey, the Canadians were allowed to play. You're not allowed to prepare yourself as a professional mixed martial artist for a fight at a gym with training partners, but you can be a professional hockey player and prepare yourself to play a hockey game. It just didn't seem fair to me that this province and this country was kind of showing preference to some athletes and some sports as opposed to others, and it seemed like they were giving preferences to some people over others. And I think that is totally wrong, especially when we've all had to sacrifice during this pandemic, when people could just come and go as they please. I think questions need to be raised when people are not quarantining. And apparently, it upsets some people. And you know what? That's totally fine with me. That's the cost of doing business, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm going to come on here and talk about pro wrestling, there's going to be some wrestlers that are not going to like it. There's going to be some people that are going to be upset. And if Sami Zayn is one of them, it makes me sad because he was one of my favorite wrestlers. And I do say was because I'm just like, I'm disappointed in his character. I'm a little disappointed in who he is. And since then, I've heard, I've been talking to my buddy Jeremy Prophet, who saw some of this stuff go down. And my buddy Jeremy Prophet, he's talking to me about Sami Zayn. I'm like, geez, man. He's a guy I know, Jeremy, and Jeremy is a friend, and yeah, there are people that seem to have issues with him. I've never had an issue with him. I've been nothing but a fan of Sami Zayn's and El Generico's for years. And I'm disappointed that he's not a fan of mine, but, so be it. I'm still a fan of his. I don't think he did much in the match tonight, but, not to say if he has a great match, I won't say how great he is. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's probably one of the best talkers on SmackDown, but don't question him or anything he does because he will take it to heart and he might direct message you. So, sorry, Sammy. I still love you, but, I hope we could be friends one day, maybe. If you want to do a submission grappling match with me and give all the money to Sammy for Syria, I'd be down with that too. So, however you want to handle it, or we can just kind of let it go and never talk about it again, which is how I'd prefer to do it. So yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not upset. And yeah, shout out to Sami Zayn. We still love you. I'm still a big fan, and sorry for pissing you off. And I will never question you and your travel again, I suppose. But, I thought it was weird that he was in Orlando Friday, Montreal Monday, and you're supposed to quarantine for 3 days. John, your response.
You say sorry, man, if he's watching that, and I doubt he is. It's better if they is.
He's not watching. You think he's watching? Even if he is,
no,
what?
Maybe
what did I do?
He knows,
what did I say? I like him. I think he's great. He got mad, and we had a disagreement, and I feel bad about it. I do. I did not mean to offend him, and I told him so. I said, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm a big fan. I was just wondering what the situation was." And I asked him a couple questions to follow up and to clear it up, so I was clear and I could tell people, what the deal is, because a lot of his fans in Montreal were asking the same questions. And I feel like as a Montreal guy who talks about wrestling, I owe it to some of these guys. I owe it to the members, to Brian Firth, to Doug Hepburn, to Angelo, to Patrick. I owe it to these guys to kind of ask these questions because I have, a bit of a platform. What did I say, John, that was offensive? I'm apologizing. I like Sammy.
It was just the way you went about it. Like it just felt like an attack.
What?
It didn't. It didn't feel. I'm just telling you, like the way he doesn't know you. So
Okay.
he doesn't understand where you're coming from. He just sees it as some guy who's like, he's attacking me pretty much. Like
On
you
Twitter,
wrote
you
one
mean?
question.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he's seen
You just have to
this,
see it like that.
if he's seen this, I think he probably gets a better understanding of who I am. It's hard to explain yourself fully on Twitter and however many characters, 280 or whatever it is now. But I was just curious as to what was going on. I never thought he would actually respond. I'm happy he did. I got, some answers, I guess. But, like, honestly, it wasn't worth the trouble of all the answers. Like, I wish I never went down that road because, like, whatever, man. I honestly don't care in the end. At the end of the day, I don't care what he's doing or what he's all about. But I was a little concerned that, and honestly, like, I was also wondering, like, am I allowed to travel now too? Like, I didn't even know. I don't know what the rules are. And then I started doing research, and I'm like, oh, shit, he's supposed to quarantine. How come he's not quarantining? That doesn't seem right. How come he's allowed to do that? Why were there special rules for him? That's what I was wondering. But if he lives here and he's got to travel to Florida for work, then, yeah, sure, that makes total sense. But if he lives there and works there, I don't really understand why he came here for a hockey game. Like, that's what it appeared. It appeared like that. It appeared that he was a guy who lives in Florida, a guy who works in Florida, who traveled to Montreal to attend a hockey game because it's a big game, and skirted the rules in doing that. That's what it looked like. And I wasn't the only one who was asking that question. Sorry.
Well, Sammy was a guy who, during the peak of this pandemic, wasn't even wrestling.
Right. Which struck me as odd and like a tad hypocritical. I was like, well, this seems weird, man.
No, not hypocritical. Like, if he did that, then there's I would think more than likely there's a good reason, and there was. Like, he's not the kind of guy that would break the rules like that. He's gone through so many hardships, going through the border, like, he wouldn't ruin it, like, everyone can see you at the hockey game. He posted it himself. Like, if he's going to post it himself, like, why would he do that unless there was a good reason for it?
Didn't it seem weird, though?
Well, you asked the question, sure, but the fact that you kept asking the question and then throwing Meltzer in there, like, you could tell, maybe now you can understand how that kind of looks like an attack.
Well, that's too bad. What are you going to do?
It's too bad because Sammy's a great guy.
Is he?
I know you're talking to some people that, think differently, but, he honestly, man, like, a lot of wrestlers, they're not very nice to talk to. Like, he's one of the coolest guys to talk to.
Okay. I don't know him. I don't think I'll ever talk to him now, though. Doug Hepburn says invite him on the show to clear the air. I don't think he would accept the invitation. And that's
sad.
Is it though?
Well, it wasn't necessary for this to happen, like to me, he's a Montreal hero. You can disagree with that all you want, but it's what I think.
George St. Pierre is a fucking hero.
Oh, it's great George has a statue. That's awesome. I
George
think
St.
Sammy
Pierre
should
is
get one
a
too.
fucking hero. You want to talk about heroes? Fucking talk to me about GSP. These guys, they're pro wrestlers.
He's gone through a lot of hardships to get where
Bret
he's
Hart
at.
is a hero. These
Yeah,
guys today,
Sammy's up there too.
I don't. Well, like Bret Hart?
I mean, Bret obviously is like the greatest Canadian hero, but Sammy is also a Canadian hero.
All right. Well, sometimes your heroes let you down.
Not in this case. Like, it's too bad, man. It's just sad, man. It's just sad that.
Fuck off, John. What the fuck?
I'll forgive you one day. Don't worry.
Forgive me one day. Go fuck yourself, John. I don't give a shit about you forgiving me. I don't give a fuck if Sammy forgives me, quite honestly. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I really don't. Like, if you're mad, you're mad. Stay mad. I don't care. So Sammy will never do our show. I don't care. I don't.
Well, I just hope you can still enjoy his matches. I don't think you'll be able to now, though. That's really too bad because he's one of the best wrestlers in WWE. There's no question about that.
No, I don't think it'll affect it at all. I don't think it really does. I don't care. Like, I feel bad that he was mad, and that's really where it ends. I'm over it. I saw him wrestle tonight. It was whatever. Not much happened. Not much happening on Dynamite either. Kenny Omega had a promo with Jungle Boy, and
Miro won.
Kind of attacked Jungle Boy. Yeah, Miro beat Evil Uno. Never in doubt. It was all right.
Uno put out a lot of things about how he's going to be the champion. He's doing this for Brody Lee. Like he tried to sway people, but you knew better. Like it's true. Like it's hard for Miro to lose like on a Dynamite like this. Like they're not going to put a title change. It's not going to happen. Like they kind of put a lot into Miro for him to lose on a Dynamite like this. Like it's not even a hyped up Dynamite. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but I appreciate Uno trying though. Like
especially not in the main event. Like if it was the main event, like maybe. But Miro just won the title. Like I don't see it happening. Okay, Patrick C. Hamilton says, just tuning in for a few minutes. Dave, are you saying no to Brian's request to Saskatchewan sticking together? Sorry, Brian. Brian dropped a super chat, had a request. He said, who would you do for my 2-year-old nephew and I will show him? Like an impression. I don't know. 2 years old? Like who would your nephew want to see, Brian? I don't know. 2-year-olds. I mean, my son is 3, almost 4. For his birthday, he's getting Asuka, Matt Riddle, and a steel cage. You want to see the steel cage I'm getting him for his birthday? It is sick. His birthday's in
I think
a couple weeks. Did I show it to you?
I think you already showed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I might have. It's huge. It's cool. The Wreckin' steel cage. Sick. I just got a new thing today. I got a stunning Steve Austin WCW gimmick. Lance Archer now wrestling some guy in the ring. Jake Roberts there seems happy about it. Yeah, any impression you want, Brian, I guess, for your 2-year-old nephew? What do 2-year-olds like these days? Vince McMahon?
Anything that's loud, I guess.
They like Vince McMahon,
Do
right?
they know Vince? But do they know? It's just a funny voice.
Damn it. I guess I shouldn't say damn it for a 2-year-old. I'm Vince McMahon. Yeah. And my Vince is too like saucy. I can't do anything for a 2-year-old that's Vince. You know, Vince is like he's always talking about the product of his semen and his grapefruits and how he's a genetic jackhammer. I'm Vince McMahon. And I'm a genetic jackhammer. And I've got grapefruits. You know? Where's Sable? I'm going to sexually harass her. You know?
I'm a little distracted. Who was the guy that Archer is squashing or squashed?
I don't know. It's some guy. It doesn't matter what his name is. Oh, damn. Douglas Lima lost to Amosov. New Bellator champion. Lima lost tonight in Bellator. Good God. Yeah, that was going on. That's surprising, but this Omosov guy is pretty damn good. First Ukrainian world champion. Huh. Cool. Lima's a bad motherfucker, man. That's crazy. Omosov is serious. Bellator's got some good little fighters. You know, they got a few fighters that are real badasses. Douglas Lima is one of them, one of the best in the world at 170. And Omosov coming in, getting the win, he's got to be one of the best in the world at 172. Jeez. For my money, Kamaru Usman's still the number 1, but Got to check out this Amosov guy. Maybe he could give Usman a run for his money. Hey. Goddamn, I love combat sports. We got some fights tomorrow night. UFC 263 going down. We got Marvin Vettori, Israel Adesanya in the main event. Davison Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno in the co-main event. And Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards as well in a 5-rounder. UFC 263, 10 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. We'll be doing the watch-along. JR might be an appropriate impression, Doug Hepburn says. God damn, I do have a lot of impressions. Good God almighty, pal. Happy birthday. I hear you're two. You must be tougher than a government mule. No, wait. Beaten like a government mule. You must be tougher than a $2 steak. You should beat your Uncle Brian like a government mule. John Cena. But Ryan says, thanks, Patrick. Do John Cena. I don't have a John Cena impression. Taiwan.
I feel like you've done John Cena before.
Taiwan is not a country. You can't see me. I bow down to my Chinese
monotone.
overlords. You can't see me. Thank you, China, for giving me the money. I am John Cena. Yo, it's John Cena in the house. This is when I do the rapper Cena. I don't do the Boston accent. And then sometimes I drop my eyes and I'm from Boston Cena. And then sometimes I'm very serious military John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, respect. It's not bad.
What's going on June 28th?
It's his nephew's birthday, June 28th. It'll be a Monday night, so I'll do something for him.
Nice.
All right, Brian. My man, Brian. Thank you for the super chats tonight, Brian. We appreciate you. I believe you are in the lead. Doug Hepburn, Patrick C. Hamilton, Brian Firth supporting the channel tonight. Harold Schneider as well. Appreciate you guys. We got legit Layla Hirsch taking on Nyla Rose right now on AEW Dynamite. I think we pretty much covered SmackDown so far. And the Sami Zayn controversy. I'm still a fan. I really don't... I don't think you're right about that I won't enjoy his matches. I think I still will. I'm not upset about it. I'm disappointed. I'm more disappointed. You know? Super chat. But I still like him as a wrestler. Yeah, but whatever. You know? Not everybody's going to like you, John. It happens.
No, but he's a great guy, you know.
Is he? I'm pretty sure one of his best buddies is the reason why you're not getting booked in a certain promotion. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
Okay, but, I mean... And one of your best buddies didn't get booked because he didn't, so there's that too. I mean, I don't know. Jeremy's pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, I know the story there. Yes.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes everyone. That's wrestling.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, not everybody's going to like everybody. That's wrestling. But I'm not worried about it. He's not Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? If Brock Lesnar was walking around the city pissed off at me, I'd be like, oh, shit. But, you know what's real and what's not.
It's not so much that. It's just, he's not someone that should have to go through that, it's sad that happened.
Wah. Cry me a river. Fuck. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. There's a lot I could say that I won't say. Talk to Glenn. You want to talk to Glenn about him too? Glenn's got stories. You know Glenn's story? Glenn's story's good. Super chat. I mean, we could... that's the thing. I'm not a dick. If I wanted to, I'd have Glenn and Jeremy on, and we'd be talking about him, and we'd just do a YouTube video just about him. You know what I mean? If I wanted to, I'd be like, oh, fuck it. Let's just go hard. Let's get Glenn. He'll tell his story. Jeremy tell his story. I'll tell mine, and we'll just do But I'm not going to do that. That's crazy, I'm not big mad like that, I don't care. But there was a moment I was like, oh, that would be funny. I was like, It might be good for the channel. Like, I'm always thinking, like, what'll be good for the channel? I was like, man, if we did, like, a shoot on him and kind of went, that'd be, maybe tell some stories, went a little hard. It could be good. But then I was like, no, let's not do that. That's a terrible thing to do. I'm not doing that. I'm not a terrible person, and I'm not that mad at him, But Jeremy was, like, texting me, and I was like, Jeremy, take it easy, and he's like, we should do it. I was like, all right, man, I'm not down with that program, That's all it is. I'm being quite nice, to be honest. You're taking it harder than I think anybody is, John. So don't worry, all right? You chin up. You chin up. Look at you all sad. Or are you frozen? Oh, I think he froze. I thought it was just really sad. I thought you were just really sad. Just posing there like...
I have been sad pretty much the whole time listening to you.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm kind of glad I got frozen for a little bit, and like I needed a break. Because,
oh my God,
man, like
so emotional.
One of the coolest guys in the world, man. Like,
one of the coolest guys in the world. Well, go do a show with him, then, John. Go do a show with him if you think he's so cool. Do a show with him. Call him up. You have his number? Your buddy?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Who are your real friends? And who are you actually sticking up for here? Who are your real friends and who are you really sticking up for? Check yourself.
Check myself. I'm telling you, man, like you were in the wrong here.
Nope. I don't think so.
Like, I am sticking up for you, just telling you, like, man, like, this wasn't good. I told you that, like.
Well, other people don't see it that way. Yeah, other people don't see it that way, John. You're the only one who's seeing it your way. And I know why, and whatever. Brian Firth says, JR will be perfect. Thanks, so excited for Max to see it. All right, well, happy birthday, Max. Good God almighty, pal. Max's birthday on June 28th, pal. All right, well, I'll move on from this, John, because I'm not mad about... Like, I'm more mad at you now than I am at him, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I just don't like that you're not taking my side. Like, you never take my side on anything, and it's annoying. But that's besides the point.
I can't take your side on this.
Yeah, because
I don't agree with you.
You never take my side on anything.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
It's not true.
Yes, it is. Fucking John. Always against me. Always going against me. This is another instance where you're not on Team Dave. You know who's on my side? AJ. You know who's on my side? Freddie. Jeremy. Glenn. The whole team. All the friends. All the super friends. All on Dave's side. Except Johnny. Disappointed, Johnny. I'm disappointed in you. You should always stick up for your buddies. Well, that's fine.
I am sticking up. I'm telling you.
Not.
Like, you
no,
were wrong
incorrect.
Here.
Incorrect once again. Anything else happened on SmackDown we need to talk about? I feel like Liv Morgan, Carmella happened. Liv Morgan beat Carmella.
We mentioned that.
And then the announcer, we did talk about the announcer announcing Carmella, despite the loss, as still the most beautiful woman in the WWE. That's a new gimmick. That's something.
I guess. I'm not a big fan of, like, you win one week, I win the next week. Like, we just saw this, like, with Corbin and Nakamura. Now we're doing it with Liv and Carmella. Like, it feels like they have nothing really going on for a lot of the feuds except a couple of big things. But everything else is just like, let's just recycle matches over and over. This hurts a lot of the shows where it's just rematch central.
Yeah. They did that match last week, right?
Yeah, when we saw Nakamura and Corbin for the last couple of weeks. Like, this hurts it. Like, the tag match was good because it's something different, Gable and the Ford, something different, like good back and forth match. But these rematches and, uninspired finishes, they don't really add anything.
Yeah.
You're not missing much. Like, I mean, they recap every week.
The whole show's a recap.
And then,
you know what
and
time
then when you just see
tonight?
the matches again.
I started watching
like at 9.
like 8:45.
That was close.
8:45. By 9:30, I was fully caught up live watching again.
I believe it.
That's how much filler there is on this show. Like, if you start watching AEW Dynamite at 8:30, you are struggling to catch up by 10 p.m. to be live and cut. Because, like, I want to, like, say I watch Dynamite on a Wednesday night and I'm supposed to be on here at 10. Like, if I don't watch that show from the beginning, or, like, 8:15 is my kind of cutoff where I have to start watching, because there's very little you could skip over on an episode of Dynamite. Raw, SmackDown, you tune into one of those shows an hour in, and there's going to be previously on, long entrances, so much shit you can skip over. And that's something else that I noticed about Dynamite just now when I say long entrances. Like, the entranceway for Dynamite, it's like, 5 feet. The entranceway for Raw and SmackDown, it's like they're 20, 30 feet. It's much longer. And that cuts into it. Shorter entrances on Dynamite, less like, this is what you missed last week, this is what you missed earlier in the night, this is what you missed before we went to commercial break. Like, that's what WWE does. They'll do something, and then when they come back from commercial, they'll show you a replay of what they just did. What show on TV does that ever? What other television show does that?
Well, no other show, but
No
they're trying
other
to be
show.
like a sports show in a sense. Like, oh, do you see that instant replay? That's what they're trying to do. That's where that comes from. But I agree, it's overdone. But that's the way they do it. So you don't miss anything. Like, if you just tune in, bam, like, you're caught up. You know everything. Like, I could miss like 2 or 3 weeks of wrestling. Like, I haven't watched Raw in like, I think almost 2 months now, or close to it.
Yeah,
I could get caught up pretty easily just watching like one episode probably.
that's the problem. And, like, it really doesn't move very fast either. Like, nothing really happens. Not only are they constantly recapping shit, you don't even need the recaps because everything moves so slowly, nothing ever happens on these shows.
Well, you get moments here and there.
I don't know.
I thought Roman and Jimmy, I thought that was good stuff to watch. The only problem is you're going to see that at least 3 or 4 more times before something actually progresses, but it was still good stuff, though. There is some quality there. You just have to really look for it.
It's not for me. I don't know. Like, yeah, of course, there's some stuff few and far between. You're going to see some stuff that's good, but overall, like WWE, again, it's just, there's a lot that I'd see that I don't enjoy. And I realized this last week when I was watching a throwaway UFC card that meant nothing. There were a few fights on there that were good, that had, Jairzinho fought Augusto Sakai in the main event. It's not a huge main event, but I sat there for 6 hours. I was not bored. I was not upset. I was not insulted as a viewer. I watched the show. People say what they want about Dana White, and you're right. Some of the things you say, some of the things I say about Dana White. But at the end of the day, the guy puts out a fucking solid product. The UFC is good. If you like, fights, which I do. And just watching a UFC show, just a random UFC show, for 6 hours felt like less time than an average episode of Monday Night Raw. Which is, half the time. It's a 3-hour show. It's just watching the WWE is such a drag. Watching AEW goes by pretty quick. On an episode, like we're doing it here. Oh, MMA rules cage fight next week. Hager versus Wardlow. They're going to do some sort of MMA rules fight on Dynamite. Oh, no, it's on Friday night, John. Wrong again,
It says
Johnny.
live Saturday.
No, it says next Friday.
Well, I'm looking because I'm behind, right? So I'm seeing it's showing the Kenny Omega match, right?
Well, that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Now, yeah.
Impact?
No. The Jungle Boy, they just showed that for me.
When's that? That's like the 26th.
That's on a Saturday. That's 26th.
So it's not next week, it's the week after Kenny and Jungle Boy for the title.
Correct. Yeah, I
Okay.
thought it was because remember it was originally they switched it,
Mm-hmm.
so that was the confusion there. So there.
So next week, the 18th of June, we'll be back here doing another watch along of Dynamite, 10 p.m. Eastern Time next Friday night. Sorry, John. Deal with it. I know you hate watching Dynamite this way, apparently, but you're going to have to do it.
I'll be a bit late because there will be a hockey game on, but I'll come on eventually.
I might start the show without you.
Understood.
Depending on
Find
the
out
game.
if you can find Glenn. If you can find Glenn, it'd be helpful.
If I can
guess.
find him. He's going to be in a hot tub surrounded by many beautiful ladies.
That's
right?
great ratings. Get him on.
That's what he does. That's his life. When he's not here, he's either teaching jiu-jitsu, doing jiu-jitsu, or hanging out with ladies in a hot tub. Glenn is our boy. Glenn is one of the top jiu-jitsu black belts in the country. He is a badass. He's got a jiu-jitsu school, Gracie Baja, West Island. Shout out to our boy Glenn. G-Mac. We'll get him back on the channel soon. Doug Hepburn wants to know, is Hager versus Wardlow really going to be an MMA fight? Nah, it'll be like a worked shoot style match. You know, they'll try to make it look like an MMA fight, but it won't be like a real fight because it's still pro wrestling. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting, but I don't think it'll be, it's not going to be a shoot. It's not going to be real. It'll be still pro wrestling. Just MMA style wrestling match, right?
Well, you remember like Ken Shamrock used to have those like lion den matches.
Yeah.
I imagine something like that.
Or even the Riddle versus Thatcher match in NXT there in the cage. Or if you watch the Josh Barnett Bloodsport promotion, that style of wrestling. Kind of what they tried to do on Raw Underground but failed miserably with. That style. Right?
Well, that Riddle Thatcher match is pretty good because didn't like Thatcher like bust open his like face like.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty great. That was a good fight. Like,
yeah, well, hopefully it'll be more like that and less like Raw Underground, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, Hager's good, right? Like, I mean, he's experienced in that kind of like atmosphere, but I don't know. Wait and see. I mean, these guys don't wrestle a lot too, so it's really tough to gauge.
Yeah. Mako wants to know if Glenn knows Cornette. No, not those types of hot tub parties, Mako. It's Glenn and several ladies, not Glenn, Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette's wife. That's not the type of hot tub party he goes to. James E. Cornette. Oh, Bob Burger saying, I'm sure
AJ. The toys now too.
Bob Burger saying, I'm sure AJ can submit G-Mac. He looks bigger. I wouldn't bet on that. AJ's a brown belt.
I mean, that's a tough
Glenn's
one.
a black belt. I go with the black belt over the brown belt in most instances. I think it'd be an interesting match, but I think Glenn would probably take it in a pure jiu-jitsu match. They want to do a boxing match against each other, which would be interesting.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be tough. Maybe me and Fred will box each other too, just like on the undercard for fun. Or maybe me and you, John, should box each other. You have quite a reach and height advantage on me, but I think I have a skill advantage
and weight,
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's kind of not fair.
It'd be like Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I'm Mayweather, you're Logan Paul.
So I'm going to fall into your arms. Okay.
You're going to get knocked out is what you're saying. All right, John?
Wow.
I'm going to knock you the fuck out.
You didn't admit that. You said like, he never knocked him out. Like,
oh,
Logan won
no.
the distance.
He didn't. That didn't happen, but when it's you and me.
Of course. Yeah.
How much boxing experience do you have, John?
No, I'm very limited.
That's right. That's correct.
I'm still okay though. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah? Well, maybe we should do it. Now there's some shit talking going on. I think I'd do all right, John, to be quite honest.
Yeah, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Super chat. Derek John wants to know, anyone watching NXT TakeOver in your house? I don't know. Oh, NXT TakeOver in your house, not in my
house.
Yeah,
it's the name of the show.
No, nobody's watching it in my house. When is that thing?
Sunday.
This Sunday?
This Sunday.
Brian first says, I am Derek John. Want to come over? In his house. Get it? Yeah. So that's this Sunday? Yeah, I'll probably watch it. Who's wrestling? Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase or something?
Well, no, I believe it's Grimes against Knight. What's his name? Eli Drake. They're in a ladder match for the $1 million title. And I believe it's a 5-way for the NXT championship. Those are the big matches.
I was
that
waiting
I know.
for you to name the participants. I was like, 5-way NXT championship. I'm like, yes, okay.
It's
Go on.
I'm trying to remember who the champion is right now.
Karrion Kross.
That's right. He's against Adam Cole.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Against Riley.
Johnny Gargano. Pete Dunne. That's the match.
There you go.
5-way. Grimes versus Knight for the vacant $1 million championship in a ladder match. Mercedes Martinez versus Zia Lee in a singles match. Raquel Gonzalez defending the NXT Women's title against Ember Moon. And a winner-take-all 6-man tag team match for the NXT North American Championship and NXT Tag Team titles. Bronson Reed and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma, which is Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. Could be fun. I don't really know who these guys are. I've heard good things about Santos Escobar, though. I've seen a bit of him. He seems all right. I like him.
Yeah, he's all right. The other guys, meh. But it's really those two matches I told you about. But even then, I don't know. Will the ladder match really be that good? I'm not too confident in that. Even the 5-way, I mean, it's just going to be a brawl, so. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
watch
too
it.
Big into it.
Is there anything else on Sunday night that I should be watching?
Probably not. I mean, there's nothing else really on at this point. Not Sunday. There's not another pay-per-view, no?
No. Impact's got their Against All Odds tomorrow night, right? Kenny Omega versus Moose.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be at Daly's place, too.
Oh, cool. Brian first says Arn's son versus Taz's son. Who wins? In a wrestling match or a fight? I think either way, I'm going with Hook Taz. Hook Taz looks more intimidating than Baby Arn, doesn't he? I did not like that outfit on Baby Arn tonight.
No, you're right, and we've seen more of Hook in action than Brock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd give the advantage to Hook, just because he's actually done wrestling moves. Though I have to say his strikes are awful. So, I'm not saying this is going to be easily for Hook. Brock could still put a good beat on him if he was taught well.
Yeah. Bob Burgers with a comment that's very suspicious. He says he was fighting as a blue belt, I believe, with Naga, and submitted a guy with a Kimura. AJ was scary good. Now, who is Bob Burgers, and why does he have such detailed information and memories of AJ as a jiu-jitsu player? Who is behind the Bob's Burgers account, and why is he so pro AJ? Because he says, I'm sure AJ can submit G-Mac. I remember seeing AJ compete, beat a guy with a Kimura. Who other than AJ would have these opinions and say these things? Who else is such an AJ fan that they would have this recollection of AJ's jiu-jitsu career? I am suspicious of the Bob Burgers account. I know that AJ's account, Danny Bruck, has been banned from the YouTube channel before, but he does show up from time to time as Danny Bruck. But tonight I am wondering, has AJ shown up under a new alias, Bob Burgers? Is AJ DeLesio Bob Burgers? And if he is not, how do you, Bob Burgers, know so much about AJ, and why are you such an AJ fan? This is all very suspicious.
They
Bob
answered you.
Burger says, I was a former BJJ guy. He won't say his name, though. You know, like, it's still like...
You don't have to name yourself.
No, you don't
if
have...
anything, you shouldn't do that on the internet.
No, you don't have to, and it's totally fine, but it's just like... You know, he has,
You're sus. You're sus, I understand.
Yeah, I'm a little suspicious. Oh, but the Ringside Report production team says definitely not AJ. Bob Burgers can write in full sentences. Ouch. AJ can write in full sentences. That's not nice. AJ's a smart guy. You know? Shout out to AJ. We love it.
Well, AJ has friends. There's no doubt about that. So
Bob Burger says, I'm better looking, but yes, I'm a fan. A fan of AJ's and of his, like, jiu-jitsu game. That is amazing.
it happens. AJ's got a lot of fans.
Yeah, I think AJ does have a lot of fans. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Burgers was a jiu-jitsu guy that knew AJ, but it's just like, first he comes with a comment that says, oh, I think AJ could submit GMAC, and then he comes back with a comment very specific, AJ as a blue belt, beating a guy with a Kimura. It just seemed very suspicious and specific. Bob Burger says, I go by Robert. Robert Burgers?
That's a pretty good name. But think about it. Like, AJ, like, he tells the same stories over and over again. So, yeah, of course you remember stuff. You're laughing, but it's true, though. Like,
he tells the same stories over and over again. He really does.
It makes sense that some people would remember, like, the stories. Because, like, yeah, you keep hearing the same thing over and over. Makes sense. Like, he hates John Jones. Like, everyone knows that, I think.
Yeah. Mako's
he predicted...
BJJ guy, question mark? Does Mako not know what a BJJ guy means? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Come on, Mako. Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody knows.
We're watching wrestling
Everybody
shows,
loves.
So,
It is the one true. It is the one true martial art. It is the greatest. Let's go.
There is a match going on
tomorrow night.
Team Taz.
Yeah, Willie Hobbs and Brian Cage versus Hangman Page and 10. If Johnny Hungy wasn't hurt, this would be Johnny Hungy and Hangman. I don't know. This is the main event.
Well, I mean, to me, this was the best match. Hangman and Brian Cage from the pay-per-view, so why not?
Because it just doesn't have anything on the line. There's nothing really happening for this match.
And you've complained many times. You're like, oh, the Dark Order needs to be on TV more often. Now they're in the main event, so...
One of them is 10. He's not even one of the main ones. But it was Uno getting a match with Miro, and now 10 here. Like, it's all right. It's all right. But it's just... There's no real consequence to this match.
Well, it's a Friday Night Dynamite. That's what happens. You gotta wait till Saturday night. You get a title match. Big title match.
Yeah.
So,
I'm confused by Bob Burgers.
Nice guy? Damn right.
Robert Drysdale? You're not Robert Drysdale, are you? If Bob Burgers is Robert Drysdale, like, big respect. Guy's a badass fighter, badass jiu-jitsu guy. No, there's no way. There's no way Bob Burgers is Robert Drysdale. If you are, I mean, big respect to you. You're a legit badass. 7-0 MMA fighter. Jiu-jitsu black belt. That's a legit dude. Oh, here's Hook Taz distracting the referee. Ricky Starks throws the FTW belt to Brian Cage to use as a weapon and hit 10. But Cage doesn't want to cheat to win, throws the belt outside of the ring. Here comes Ricky Starks getting in Cage's face, slaps him across the face. Brian Cage doesn't like being slapped across the face. Very few men do.
Ricky Starks is hurt. You can't hit him.
Up. So Brian Cage just walks to the back, chasing Ricky Starks out of camera shot. Hook Taz follows. They all go backstage, leaving Willie Hobbs by himself in the ring to deal with 10 and Hangman. We are in the main event.
I imagine Taz on commentary.
Main event of AEW Dynamite right now. Yeah, Taz, I think, is on commentary. Yeah, he is. I like how they do that in AEW. The managers aren't ringside. They just go to commentary.
Except Jake. Jake's always at ringside.
Oh, yeah. I guess they don't want to put him on a live mic for too long. I don't know.
It can be scary. It can be good, but it can be scary.
It can be real scary. You see the Dynamite Kid Dark Side of the Ring?
Thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. Like it was the one I was looking forward to the most this season, and I thought it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
The main point of that was say no to steroids, because wow, that really messed up his life.
Hangman hits a buckshot lariat, and 10 gets the pin on Will Hobbs. Hangman and 10 get the win in the main event. Yeah, I think Dynamite, steroids, but also, like his ex-wife was saying, CTE, mental illness, brought about by CTE. I think, a lot of what was going on with Dynamite, the rage, the violence, the domestic stuff, part of it was, possibly who he was, but I think part of it might have been CTE. I mean, drug and alcohol abuse, obviously not good things and not things that you should be doing. People talk about roid rage, but I think there's maybe more science now that says CTE rage. Roids definitely could give you some rage, but CTE can make you do some horrible, horrible things to yourself and others. So might have been some of that going on with Dynamite, but yeah, he did some terrible stuff to his wife and kids. Pretty damn awful. And pretty crazy.
Oh, the shotgun to the face? Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah. And I read about that in Brett's book. Brett talked about that. So I'd heard the story, but not in such detail as told by his ex-wife. That was pretty damn terrible. Hangman and the Dark Order celebrate with beers on the stage to celebrate their victory. And Dynamite is now over. Douglas Hepburn says, great show, guys.
-1.
What do you mean? Oh, -1. Yeah, -1.
That he wasn't doing his homework, so he wasn't going to be on TV anymore. There he is.
I thought you were saying Doug Hepburn's super chat was a -1. But no, you said -1, -1, Brody Lee's son, who's there with the Dark Order. Doug Hepburn, with a great super chat, he says, great show, guys. Sammy is just a paranoid person. Conspiracy. Yeah, maybe he's just working a gimmick with me. Maybe that's what's going on. He's just paranoid. He thinks I'm part of the conspiracy. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's trying to get me to dislike him because he's a heel. And I'm just marking out. I'm feeding into it. Maybe?
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Oh, I'm not losing any sleep on this, believe me. This is the last thing that I'm worried about, John. If anything, I think this is just good for the channel because it's a story now that we could tell going forward. I think this is, Sammy was never going to be on the show. You know what I mean? I'm not getting Sami Zayn on the show. Who from the WWE is coming on our show? It's not happening, So what did I get out of it? In the end, I got a funny story. And to me, that's all this is. It's a funny story. Remember that time Sami Zayn got mad at me? Remember that time Wade Barrett blocked me on Twitter? I don't know. It's just funny. That's an old story. Wade Barrett doesn't seem to like me for some reason. Some shit I said on Twitter, 8 years ago or whatever. I realized he blocked me, and now it's just like a funny joke. Oh, yeah, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett hates my guts. Oh, well. It is what it is, John. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to talk about pro wrestling. If people don't like it, some people are going to get their feathers ruffled. So be it. Sorry I upset you, John. I didn't mean to upset you. All right? Because you're my friend, and I care about you. Because that's how it's supposed to work. I back you up.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm just letting you know, there were some parts to it that I didn't agree with the way you conducted yourself. So to just let you know, I saw some parts of it that you did was wrong.
Yeah, fine. So. Whatever. I don't really care about that, John. All right. We're gonna wrap up. That's it. I want to thank Doug Hepburn for joining us tonight. Doug Hepburn for the Super Chat. Brian Firth as well. Thank you, Brian. You are the Super Chat leader of the night. Patrick C. Hamilton. and Harold Schneider as well. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you, Derek John, for becoming a member. I saw Wally Byrne re-upped his membership as well. Thank you, Wally, out in Ireland.
Nice.
Good man. Good man. And did you see the Bret Hart A&E documentary?
No, because I think you wrote about it. It's like, oh, I didn't learn anything new about it. So it's like, well, if you didn't learn anything new, then not really worth watching.
The end was good, though. It's worth seeing the end, just seeing Bret with his kids and his grandkids. Like, you know, all the time he wasn't able to be with his kids, he seems to be making up for now with his grandkids. It was just really nice to see Bret as, like, the grandfather, Grandpa Bret, with all these kids around him. He looked like, you know, Stu with all the kind of Hart kids around him. It was nice to see Grandpa Bret enjoying his retirement and enjoying his life at this point. I like to see Bret happy and to know that Bret is living a happy life. That's a weird sound. Yeah, I don't know what that was. But, you know, I like to see Bret happy. And that was nice. I think if you're a Bret fan, you want to see Bret happy. Again. Yeah.
Well, I also heard that apparently, like, Bret, like, he's not as bitter anymore, I guess. Like, everyone says that about Bret, that he's a bitter person and, like, you just can't let it go. Like, apparently in this, like, he actually took a lot of responsibility for what happened in Survivor Series, and that, you know, he could have handled it differently himself. That, you know, he always puts the blame on Vince and Shawn, and, you know, he actually took some responsibility for it finally.
I think Shawn has taken responsibility before.
Shawn's like, if you remember the Bret versus Shawn, like, doc they did, Shawn was like, oh, I can't really remember, but if you say that was true, yeah, you know, I wasn't the right kind of person. Well, okay, yeah. Shawn Michaels laugh. So, like, Shawn, like, just like, yeah, you have the Shawn laugh so much better than I do. But yeah, Shawn will just give you the excuse about, you know, God. Yeah.
You know, I'm a changed man now. And oh, I used to be Shawn Michaels, and now I'm an old guy. I used to be
Shawn
cool,
looks rough.
Shawn is like nowhere near who he was. You know, like the Shawn Michaels that I loved as a wrestler and the guy that exists now, like Shawn Michaels is dead. Michael Hickenbottom lives on. You know, he's Michael Hickenbottom now, and he'll forever be Michael Hickenbottom. He's the guy with like the little hair. He's got no hair. He just, you know, it's not good. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look like, he doesn't act like Shawn. He doesn't have any of the attitude, you know? Yeah.
Well, he acts like goofy Shawn, like the Shawn near the end of his run kind of thing. Like, he acts like that. Like, it's nothing great. And, like, I don't get it. Like, he's at the Performance Center all the time. Like, how come you're out of shape now? Like, you look so small.
Well, I mean, he's, 60 years old, isn't he? He's getting up there. He's not going to be jacked forever, and, like, he was never huge. Shawn is, he's 55. Doesn't have to be big anymore. Why put yourself...
I'm not saying big, but, like, looks really small.
I thought it was interesting, Bret's documentary. They talked about his first wife, and they talked about his current wife, but they didn't mention the one in the middle. Bret's had 3 wives. I guess, you know, she wasn't there for that long, but there was like an Italian woman.
No, she wasn't.
He was like living in Italy for a bit too, wasn't he, with her?
I thought it was
not
Hawaii, no? But
I don't know. I thought he lived in Italy for a bit with his wife, who was Italian, but she was not mentioned at all in the Bret documentary, which I thought was interesting because it was like, you know, a lot about Julie, his first wife, who had the kids with Bret and everything with him during the wrestling career and all that stuff. And then his current wife...
She was on Dark Side, too.
Yeah, his wife Julie was on the Dynamite Kid episode. A lot of Julie Hart this week, which was cool to see. Cool to see her. She's a great Canadian. Love Julie Hart. And, you know, then you see Bret's current wife, and Bret's talking about her, you know, but there was no mention of the middle wife. But, you know, that's fine. There's only so much time in the documentary, and they had to talk about the screw job Because as we all know, nobody knows that story, and they had to give you more details on the screw job, which I really, at this point, I've heard so much about the screw job. I was at the screw job. Like, if I never hear about it again or never hear interviews about it again, I'll be fine with that. You know? Aren't you kind of over the screw job at this point? Like, I don't need to hear more about the screw job in 97. I was there. I've heard about it. I've heard everybody talk about it. We're good.
Well, now it's just like, oh, it should have gone this way. It should have been like this. And it's like, yeah, it would be great to rewrite 97, but you can't. It happened, and people have moved on from now. Like, and thankfully, Brett, they finally got over it. Forgave WWE finally. Forgave Sean. So, maybe one day, I'll be able to forgive Sean. Who knows?
Oh, Lamar Odom beat Aaron Carter tonight? Did that happen tonight? He knocked Aaron Carter out in the second round of their fight. Fantastic.
That's good, no? Yeah, shouldn't you be happy? Like,
what do you mean?
I can't imagine.
It's a celebrity boxing match.
Yeah. Why?
Lamar
you're
is
an Aaron Carter fan? Like,
I mean, I don't know. Lamar was so much bigger than Aaron Carter. I figured he would win, and he just beat the shit out of this guy. Wow, this is ugly.
It's good, no?
I'm watching a video of it right now. Wow, Aaron Carter doesn't. I mean, it's not good. It's not real boxing. Chuck Liddell's the guest referee. They're both wearing headgear. Aaron Carter can't fight. It's clear neither of them can fight. It's just Lamar Odom's like 3 times his size.
People love to see that, though.
Knockout in the second round of celebrity boxing tonight. Whatever that is. That's faker than pro wrestling. Jesus. The knockout is horrible. Oh, that's funny shit. Oh, yeah. There'll be some real fights tomorrow. All right? Real fights tomorrow, UFC 263. I'll be here with Freddie and AJ to recap it. Yes, John, always correcting me. Always correct, John. Never taking my side. Always have to get the last one. Nah.
Well, just to show you how long the show's been, like, we've gone, past their usual time. Like, we're still going. Dynamite's over, and we're still talking. We're into the late hours.
Well, now we're done. Okay? Thank you to everybody for super chatting once again. Doug Hepburn, Brian Firth, Patrick C. Hamilton, Harold Schneider. You guys are the MVPs of the show. Big shout out to Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, Brian was huge tonight.
Brian dropping a big super chat tonight. Appreciate you, Brian. Patrick as well was in there. Doug Hepburn was in there as well. These guys were dropping the super chats tonight. We appreciate you. You guys are the lifeblood of the Ringside Report Network. You guys keep us alive and going. And it's because of you that I sit through Johnny North fucking being mean to me. All right? I would support you. No matter what you did, even if I thought you were wrong, I would never publicly tell you you were wrong. Just so you know. Privately, I might, but not the way you have done it to me. And I'm disappointed in you. But that's okay. We're moving on. You're still my buddy. I still love you. And
I just hope you can be honest with me.
Doesn't say
I just
it
hope
back
you
to
can
me.
be honest.
I'm always honest with you, you motherfucker, you.
Well, not if you're
if you
just
were here, I would
fuck
you
blindly behind me.
No,
you got to be honest.
No,
that's better
publicly.
For me.
Publicly, I would always support you. Privately, I might tell you what I really think. But publicly, I would always support you, John. Sad to say I can't expect the same out of you, but that's okay. I know what to expect. I'll be back here tomorrow night with AJ, a.k.a. Tony, as the jiu-jitsu community knows him. Big Tone, Tony DeLessio will be with me tomorrow, who always supports me in private and public 110%. Freddie Garcia, same deal. Supports me in private and public 110% all the time. Johnny North.
Wasn't AJ super pissed at you last time?
He was mad at Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he was mad at me. Mad at Floyd Mayweather. Now that's different. All right. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, for UFC 263, the watch-along. Johnny and I will be back next Friday for SmackDown, right?
Yeah, we'll be on a little bit late, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And I'll be on Monday night after Raw, too, probably, unless I need a break. But probably not. I think I'll be on Raw after Raw Monday. Okay? Okay? Okay. Like this video. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell. See you tomorrow night for UFC 263.